45 seconds of Disney and Pixar logos, as usual, even though you all have them memorized at this point. I understand the movie is rewriting prehistory here for the sake of the story. I think it's worth mentioning that dinosaurs went extinct 66 million years ago, and humans started to do human things around 10 million-ish years ago. So the movie wants me to believe that nothing else could have happened to the dinosaurs within the 50 million years between this moment and this moment that would have either killed the dinosaurs or through evolution altered their appearance so drastically we wouldn't be able to tell what is what. I guess so. Minus one sin for holy f***, that looks like real f***ing water. Man, these dinosaurs learned how to grow crops in some straight-ass lines. Pixar expects me to believe that the apatosauruses evolved to presumably have retractable axes in their tails. And super strength. Well, with this kind of evolution, it's a wonder the Earth ever thought humans were necessary at all. If they can build a device for seeding, they can certainly build a plow. They also evolved hyperintelligence, which raises the question, how are they able to build tools like this without hands? There's no way they could tail whack that thing together. Okay, we eat the big one, we raise the little ones as slaves. Agreed? Other than surprising the viewers and the dino parents, is there any reason for this egg to have been so big when he's so small? Because I don't think that would actually happen. Also, if I was Arlo's mom, I'd be kind of pissed right now. I pushed out this giant-ass egg for this? Arlo's siblings come out of their eggs running and practically flying, yet Arlo struggles to take his first steps.
That's Clawtooth Mountain.
Clawtooth Mountain looks very similar to the Expedition Everest ride at Animal Kingdom. Not exactly the same, but enough to confuse some children. Also, these dinosaurs couldn't decide if it looked like a claw or a tooth, so they said, F it, let's just call it Clawtooth.
And we're all gonna take care of it together.
They've been alive for like 2 minutes and already have chores. We'd never see them eat a chicken or an egg from a chicken. And based on what Arlo eats during another scene in this movie, and science, I can safely assume he's an herbivore. So why are these things even here? Is Henry only keeping them here to teach Arlo a lesson about fear? Convenient dead broken log is convenient. Mud is not paint. Mud washes away in the rain. Yet this and every other mark made remains on the corn silo for the duration of the film.
Go on, Buck. You earned it.
Making your mark apparently just means doing your job. You might be expecting me to sin this dino society placing such a high value on muddy footprints. Instead, I'm going to sin this massively heavy stone-based structure for standing upright all this time on 4 tiny, skinny wooden legs. What the f***?
All right, you cluckers!
Pixar basically snuck all right you f***ers into this movie.
You will, darling. You just need a little more time.
How are these chickens not dead yet if Arlo can't successfully feed them?
I got an idea.
Genuinely surprised a light bulb didn't appear above his head just before he said this.
Arlo, wake up.
And no one else in this room within the same earshot as Arlo hears that. Stomping around these lightning bugs doesn't make them move, but lightly waving a tail over them makes them light up and fly away. Is Henry's tail magic? I've seen The Lion King. This will not end well. With this single jump, yeah, he sets off a pretty looking firefly event, but he also killed hundreds of other unsuspecting fireflies who did not expect him to jump and land on them, right? Right?
The dang wilderness critters coming over the fence, eating our food.
But I thought you said...
Now this'll keep them rotten critters from stealing our food. Because if this keeps up, we won't have enough food to survive the winter.
But all you keep here is corn. Is corn the only food you plan to eat all winter? Do you not have other storehouses with other foods that collectively might mostly cover the shortfall of this one corn storehouse? How can you have farms and storehouses like this but not have any goddamn farming sense? Are you destined to go extinct regardless of the circumstances? The movie expects me to believe adorable dinosaurs are capable of this kind of trap building and critical thinking, despite being, dinosaurs.
And this is how you're gonna finish the job.
Henry knows that Arlo struggles to feed the chickens, yet he thinks Arlo is capable of killing. Shouldn't he be hiding? Arlo was instructed to catch and kill the critter, not keep it from showing up. That's why they built that trap. See? I told you he couldn't be trusted with this. Jump scare? What are you doing here? Arlo cuts the tree rope, but then the kid climbs out one of the holes in the net that he totally should have been able to climb out of earlier.
What if we get lost?
As long as you can find the river, you can find your way home.
Well, that sounds like some conveniently prescient bullshit that will come in handy later. Arlo literally trips over the only rock in the pathway. Fucking Arlo. Yes, I saw Disney's Hercules too. Yes, it's a hurricane, but this river behaves as though the freaking Hoover Dam exploded upriver. Why? Because we need to Mufasa Arla's dad, of course. Well, hello, Lion King. I enjoyed you before, but did not expect to see you in dinosaur form. And from the same freaking studio. I mean, they just cranked the Lion King up to 11. I wish I had that cliche. What was this kid doing with his eaten corn cobs before Arlo opened this hole up 30 seconds ago, eh? How fortunate for the plot that he sees a new hole and instead of being scared like a feral human child, he decides it's an upgrade to wherever he's been tossing his food waste.
My papa would still be alive if it weren't for you!
That's true, but it's also a clear case of transference. Arlo ends up in the raging river waters mostly because he's stupid and has no spatial awareness, though the movie will try to blame it on the feral man-child. Well, clearly he's gonna get knocked out by a rock any second now. Also, he doesn't drown after this. Instead, he's floated to the surface to find air and other life-giving bullshit rather easily and conveniently. It was very considerate of the river to place Arlo in this shallow pool with his head kept above water on a rock. I see that he has bruises? Maybe it's just dirt. Who knows? But no cuts or gashes or open wounds. It's one thing for him to survive, but another thing to survive mostly unscathed. The animation in this movie is f***ing phenomenal, and I'll even knock another sin off for it, even though I really don't like this movie.
Mama?
Protagonist is really stupid. That's what you get for not having hands. Jeep, it's what's for dinner. Also, he's gonna have to go down at an incline at least as steep as the one he climbed up, right? He's like on top of the world here. He's got nowhere to go but down.
Where's home?
Upriver dipshit. Yep, he somehow climbed from there to here. I know, right? Heimlich? Don't ever do this. Many random forest berries are poisonous. This movie is a terrible role model. Seriously, every bone in Arlo's body is broken at this point, right? It looks like we have a 127-hour situation on our hands. Well, more like our leg. Bruce Almighty Moon in the house, y'all. Have I mentioned how good the animation is in this film? Because the story is terrible. What makes this lizard food and not another creature they can talk to? I'm not sure who I should feel bad for here. Spot isn't great at killing animals before bringing them to Arlo for consumption. My modern house cat at least has the common courtesy to kill a mouse before bringing it to me. Movies Timon and Pumbaa stand in predictably offers the far-from-home lost protagonist bugs as food. I'm glad Neander Kid figured out Arlo is an herbivore, but still. Isn't there like a 60% chance these berries are poisonous? Or was I just overwarned as a child? If Spot got the berries from this spot before, how was he able to get there without the Arlo Bridge? Spot is a distant relative of Darla Sherman. Arlo survives this fall, which is categorically— oh, who f***ing cares? If you took your young child to this movie, I bet you regret it. So, are humans in this version of history dogs? One could argue that the panting is just heavy breathing because of the wrestling match with the snake, but he's also sitting like a dog, and his name is f***ing Spot.
This is Dream Crusher. He protects me from having unrealistic goals.
So does that mean they're married? Both Arlo and Spot must have Lance Armstrong's steroid-level lung capacity to make these gopher creatures pop out of the ground. The good dinosaur, the trouble with tribbles. Aw, he taught him how to human paddle. These two obviously eat some shady shit, but fortunately for them, the only side effects are hilarious hallucinations. Maybe his parents were wolves. That's the only logical explanation for his continued non-ape-like behavior. But based on his ability to quickly and quietly move, maybe his parents were cats, or hobbits. Because it's a movie, a storm can literally roll into the area in like 3 seconds.
I used to have a name like that once. That was before I started following the storm!
So are the pterodactyls cult members, or are they just religious? Who is Pixar trying to warn me to avoid? Damn, Disney hates Ice Age. Also, that's horrific. And how did it take me this long to see the Lion King hyena connection to these 3 pterodactyls? Just like Jurassic Park, sudden T-Rex saves the day.
Hey, you okay, kid?
The carnivorous T-Rexes are nice to the smaller, defenseless, and potentially delicious creatures, because I guess John Lasseter was tired of Steven Spielberg's vilification of the T-Rex.
Do longhorns have feathers?
Nope, and neither did velociraptors until 2007. Tiny Dino is able to keep up with 3 super-fast T-Rexes, somehow.
Howdy.
The rustlers are predatory killers and have no reason to keep Arlo alive, but sure, let's chat.
Well, Arlo.
And now we have the crows from Dumbo. Excellent.
It's me what I think they're doing.
Hermes?
So the pterodactyls are some sort of religious zealots, the T-Rexes are ranchers, so what rural stereotype are the raptors? Meth addicts? Could Butch just snap his neck instead of doing all this throwing? Wouldn't that eliminate the problem from happening in the future? Tiny Horse Wolf Thing is able to take down a giant T-Rex with no problem. Arlo continues to conveniently find things to hide behind. Grasshoppers do not double as harmonicas, even prehistoric ones.
But my tail was stuck between a rock and a hard place.
This movie has 2 127 hours references too many.
One croc bit me on the face.
And a dash of Finding Nemo. This is a Disney Pixar cliche stew, basically.
Dang!
Nash and Ramsey respond like they've never heard this story before. Arlo conveniently discovers his ability to crack his tail like a whip, which is an ability I'm positive would hurt like hell. Is there any reason this wild friend of Arlo's has to be humanoid? Isn't the entire point of the conceit of the asteroid missing the Earth so that you can shove dinos and humans together? And then when you do, you make the human such a mongrel that it might as well be a wolf or a prehistoric ferret? Miraculously, none of these birds took a shit on him. That seems unnecessarily dangerous. Jesus. I'm gonna be really upset if that's a person, because that will mean that all my theories are false, and Pixar decided to make people dogs in this movie for no reason. Yep, it's a person.
We need to get home.
Arlo denies his friend the chance to reconnect with family on his own quest to reconnect with family. In other words, Arlo is an asshole.
And all the corn you can eat.
Didn't he have that before? This asshole didn't learn from the last time he saw this shit. Oh no, an upside-down sky shark! Run! It's also super convenient and kind of those pterodactyls to dip their lower fin just below the cloud line in unison to tip off their presence. Also, circling like sharks takes the shark parallel you're going for one step too far, y'all. This doesn't pull the savage child's arms out of their sockets. These things are like the bizarro eagles from Lord of the Rings. They just show up suddenly whenever the script needs some cheap tension. Arlo survives this, although given the movie's previous events, perhaps this shouldn't surprise me. Also, those things would definitely eat Spot well before Arlo ever got out of this mess to try and save him. They likely split up Spot's limbs on the flight back to the nest. Main character is having a vision where his dead father shows up and tells him what he has to do to embrace his identity and fulfill his destiny. Now where have I seen that before?
I gotta go help him because I love him.
It's okay to love your dog, man. Just don't love your dog. Dream Dad melting in the rain is actually pretty horrific. If I had kids, I'd be mad at Disney for scarring them with this movie's oddly gross imagery. Wow, the climax of this movie is taking place at the same time a weird hurricane is passing directly over the main mountain. Will wonders never cease? For some reason, the pterodactyls put the human food inside a hollow tree before trying to eat it. I guess for sport? Hey, let's steal that food kid and take him home, but then put him in a hiding place so that we have trouble eating him. Brilliant! A 500-pound pterodactyl cannot carry a 2-ton Apatosaurus cub. Tree knocks these two into the water, and they promptly forget how to fly. F*** off. Also, millions of years from now, Arlo's ancestors will make trick-shot YouTube videos. Already pretty hairy situation, amplified by conveniently timed super landslide. Both Arlo and Spot survived the same type of mudslide disaster and waterfall that killed Arlo's father, because Arlo is clearly invincible. No one knew this before because he was so f***ing scared he never did anything. Of course, they both Richard Kimball themselves into surviving this somehow. Movie does that thing where it tries to make you think someone's dead even though there's no way they're dead, which is kind of tired and annoying at this point. I guess blowing on someone is the prehistoric equivalent of Dwayne Johnson yelling, "Don't you die on me," while doing chest compressions. Why are they all white-haired? Are these Anderson Cooper's ancestors? His ancestors? That's right, Spot. Just Mowgli off with your new family. And that's the story of how Spot led the humans to the silo, thus ensuring their survival and killing off a good dinosaur family. Arlo got lost and manages to make it back home, all while not really accomplishing anything, so he gets to finally make his mark, whatever that means.
You would not believe your eyes if 10 million fireflies.
Squirrel!
When there are clouds in the skies and they are gray.
Sure, buddy, I'd be happy to help out. What can I do? Doodly doo, diddly doodly diddly doodly hobbly hoodly hobbly.
Well, technically I'm not exactly a master builder yet.
What?
Franks and beans.
Scoop of chocolate, scoop of vanilla. Don't waste my time.